Welcome to Take Me Out, the ultimate podcast about ballparks and the baseball experience. It's April 23rd, 2025. I'm Alexandra Ellis, and I'm joining my friend Timothy Malcolm.
What's up, baseball fans? It is April 23rd. It is, well, what day is it? The 22nd, actually, over here. It's the 23rd where you are.
Yeah, I'm time jumping. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. And so it
Hello
is,
from the future.
We're on the West Coast. It's 10:45 at night here on the 22nd, and I just left Sutter Health Park in Sacramento, California. I saw my first athletics game at Sutter Health just now, tonight. We got through a bunch of technical difficulties, but we're here, and we're doing a podcast. There it is.
We're here. We're doing it. Take Me Out goes late night. It's great. But how's Sacramento? Did you have fun? I mean, what you doing over there now?
Oh, we did a lot of stuff. Well, I'll get into it for sure in a few minutes. But the long and short is it's a minor league park. It's very minor league, and it's super minor league. That's pretty much.
It is minor league.
It's really weird. It's just weird.
Oh,
it's real. Yeah, it's minor league.
Oh.
But we'll get into it for sure. Sacramento is a really cool town. And for people who are wanting to come out and see the A's in Sacramento, totally worth it to do it because Sacramento is a cool town and it's worth visiting once. So that's for sure.
Cool.
But yeah, we'll get into that in a few minutes. We'll do a whole big Sutter Health Park rundown, live rundown, kind of what the park looks like, what is to do, and all that stuff. We'll do that in a few minutes. But first, I guess we should just say first off, this podcast, Take Me Out, is a podcast about ballparks, baseball experience, and it is born from a book that I wrote called Baseball Road Trips. It is on everywhere you find books, Amazon, et cetera, et cetera. Since
you don't have yours with you.
Alex is holding up. There it is. It is
the first edition. This is the first edition, right? Yeah.
That is the first edition. The second edition has Camden Yards on the cover, but it is the absolute best book you can have for going to ballparks. And so the podcast is the extension of that. Boom, boom, boom. And so here we are. And so if you are interested in going to ballparks and visiting and checking off all the parks on your bucket list and all that stuff, you should listen to this podcast. Tell your friends, all that stuff. Tell people that you know. Because we would like to have you on board and your friends on board and your family on board and whoever else who loves baseball in your life on board for this podcast. With that out of the way, let's talk about what's going on in ballpark news.
Sounds good. Let's start with Atlanta. NFA Burger, the Atlanta-born burger restaurant that moved into Truist Park for the 2025 season, is suddenly gone from the venue, according to multiple reports.
Yeah, when we talked about food that was going to be at the ballparks this year, new food, good food, all that stuff, NFA Burger was one of those places that I mentioned with Truist Park, an Atlanta burger place that does shack-style burgers and really good stuff. But they have decided to drop out, and the reasoning is they are focusing very hard on a restaurant that they are opening in the Atlanta area that is different from NFA Burger, but it is a new project that they are trying to really dial down. Apparently, it got finished quicker. It's finishing quicker than they thought it would. I mean, you know all about opening restaurants, Alex, what that's all about.
Good for them. That never happens.
Well, yeah, I mean, it usually takes a long time to open restaurants, at least here in Texas. But opening a restaurant, no matter what it is, takes a lot of work and a lot of time. And so they are trying to put all their attentions on that. So they decided we're going to drop out of Truist and open this restaurant. Makes sense. At the same time, why did you ever agree to, even if you had something in the pipeline, why did you, I don't know. Just a question for myself, I guess.
That's odd. It's kind of a weird look for them too. It's just if you're going to do that, just still commit for the season, then maybe take care of everything else later. It's just not the best look thinking about that. But what's going to be there now,
Not even a month into the season, but what's going to be there now is Grindhouse Killer Burgers, which has 2 locations already at Truist. They're going to have a 3rd location at Truist, and they do shack style burgers. So in the sleeve, very pliable burgers, you can squish them down kind of a thing, but they're loaded as well. You can, a lot of flavors and stuff like that. So that'll be in its place. So nothing crazy new, nothing unique, just kind of a repeat of what's already there at the park. But that's the deal there. NFA burgers out and more Grindhouse killer burgers in Truist.
Well, best of luck to NFA. I'm glad that their restaurant's opening up sooner. That rarely happens, but that's just a weird look for them. I just fill out the contracts and then move on. That's it. All right. Let's go to Dodger Stadium has been added as a venue for the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. Meanwhile, in San Diego, Petco Park will host WWE's annual Survivor Series in November.
Yeah, so Dodger Stadium is going to be taking part in the 2028 Olympics. They're going to be hosting baseball. Well, of course, makes sense. It's not the first time that a ballpark has been hosting an Olympic, sport of any kind. Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta hosted some baseball in '96, and Turner Field, of course, when that, before that became Turner Field, was the Centennial Olympic Stadium in Atlanta and was where track and field took place and all that in 1996. So there's a history of ballparks being part of the Olympics before their ballparks or whatever, during their run or whatever it is. It's nothing new. Meanwhile, so WWE is going to have their big Survivor Series event at Petco. Survivor Series is a November premium live event, PLE they call it. It's been part of the WWE world for 40 years now. Survivor Series, it's been around forever. Maybe not close to 40. It'll be close to 40 this coming year. It'll be like 37 or 38 years. But it's an event where the big matches are cage matches that are called war games. It's an old school wrestling kind of match setup where there's two cages put together and it's all brutality and whatever. It's wrestling. I know wrestling. I'm not going to go into it, but it's not the first time that
it's another podcast,
different podcast. It's not the first time that there has been a wrestling event at a ballpark. T-Mobile Park in Seattle hosted WrestleMania 19 back in the day in 2003, I think it was. Rogers Center in Toronto, when it was Skydome, hosted WrestleMania 18 in 2002. Also hosted WrestleMania, I want to say 7 or 6, maybe 6 back in 1990 or 91, somewhere in that area. But, Rogers Center, T-Mobile, they both hosted major events. Daikin Park, Minute Maid, hosted Royal Rumble a couple years back. So, ballparks are not strangers to WWE events. And this will be the first one, though, to happen at Petco. The quote comes from Paul Levesque, who is also known as Triple H in the wrestling world. He said, for the first time in the event's nearly 40-year history, Survivor Series will take place in a stadium on November 29th. And we believe Petco Park in San Diego is the perfect host for a historic night. And it's gonna be great. I mean, November at Petco, it'll be nice weather, like 60s, 70s, like very nice weather for the workers, the wrestlers to do their thing, and for fans to enjoy themselves. So it'll be a really great time there. No tickets on sale yet. They are doing a pre-sale sort of event thing where you can essentially register for pre-sale offer or something like that. That'll tickets will be on sale at some point later. But that's the deal there. Yeah, I mean, it's good to see that Petco is getting mileage out of more than just baseball. They've hosted concerts and things like that, but it's a great park. I love Petco. We can talk about that.
It's a great park.
Really,
I'm glad that they're doing that in November because I've always had a weird opinion. I don't know if it's a weird opinion, but just like I felt weird about ballparks hosting events during baseball season, not just because it's in the middle of the season, but because it's like you put that stuff on the turf. And I think Minute Maid, it was back Minute Maid in 2022. I've had a Pitbull concert and then the Lady Gaga concert, and the field looked awful during the playoffs. And I think they had to go up and redo it, but it's like, wait till after the season when you don't have to rush to refinish the field because the field looked so bad. You could see where the stage was and where the platforms were. And I'm glad that they're doing it in November. So cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the news. Just a quick one there. And we'll come back in just a moment and we will talk about Sutter Park, where I was tonight. Here in Sacramento, we'll go through the park and what to do around the park and what the park is like and the fans and all that stuff in just a moment here on Take Me Out. Stay with us. Welcome back to Take Me Out. Tim here, Alex there. And tonight, Tuesday night, April 22nd, 2025, I went to I guess it's funny. Like I was saying before the season, I've been to all the parks. And then we changed and, Tropicana Field became Steinbrenner Park and the Oakland Coliseum or OO Coliseum or UU Coliseum, whatever you want to call it, became Sutter Health Park in Sacramento. And so I couldn't say any more that I've been all 30. I have been to Steinbrenner, so I was at 29. Okay. And then tonight I finally, it's been a month, but I got to Sutter Health Park in Sacramento. I'm back at 30. I've been to all the parks now, but we were at Sutter Health tonight to see the Sacramento Athletics. Sure. Take on the Texas Rangers. They lost. I think 8-5 was the final. A's came back late, made it interesting late, but the Rangers pretty much dominated most of the game, and it was fun night at the park. But just kind of let's talk about it. Let's talk about the park. Let's talk about Sacramento. All these things. Alex, just go right ahead. Like, ask whatever you want to ask me about. This park and this city or whatever. Just please, let's get it rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was actually following our stories on Instagram because you went to Vegas, did a little overnight there, then you landed in Sacramento, you took the train. You did a lot of walking around downtown Sacramento. What was that like?
It's a fun little place. I mean, I flew into Vegas last night, or a night, whatever it was, Monday night, and I spent 7 hours in Vegas very quickly, and then I had to connect, and I connected from Vegas to Oakland. And I landed in Oakland and just hightailed it, got on an Uber or a Lyft, and went to the train station, got on the Amtrak, and took the Amtrak out to Sacramento. It was a 2-hour Amtrak ride. Very nice train ride. Very nice. And I recommend it to anybody who is maybe thinking about going to Sacramento. You can always fly into the Bay Area and then take the Amtrak. It's a 2-hour Amtrak. It's very easy. And you get right into the heart of the city. And the city is cool. It's like, so the train station is just beyond the Sacramento River on the east side. So the ballpark is in West Sacramento, across from the Tower Bridge. The Tower Bridge goes across into downtown Sacramento. Capitol Drive is the main road here. And the train station is a little bit north of Capitol Drive and the bridge. It's just a little bit like 5 blocks north or so. So basically you have the bridge, Old Town Sacramento, which is all very Wild West and Prospector, 19th century, weird, touristy places. And the train station is just a little bit off of there, but right in that general area. So it's not far away. And my hotel is actually, I'm at the Quality Inn, fantastic stuff. And it is, it's near the Capitol, near the convention center in Sacramento, about 20 minutes away from the bridge, probably. It's a nice walk. It's like a 15 to 20 minute walk, and it's very easy. The streets are clean. The streets are nice. It's, very green, tree lined, really beautiful. The gardens are really nice here. It was a great day. It was 80 degrees, a little polleny, a lot of
California
pollen out there.
weather.
But it was good California weather. And honestly, I really enjoy Sacramento. It's a very walkable city. There's enough to do, enough to eat, enough to drink. There's enough culture. It's just a really cool little city.
Kind of like how you said, the train station's kind of closest to downtown, because it sounds like it's like a Prospector. So you take the train and you're in this old Western kind of town. It kind of seems like a fun little thing right there.
Well, so Old Sacramento, which is against the river, but so the river, it's the river's here, then Old Sacramento, and then the highway, and then beyond the highway is downtown Sacramento. So that there's a little sliver of 2 or 3 blocks that are basically Old Sacramento, and that's very boardwalky sort of walking, and old buildings and 19th century saloon-y kind of stuff going on. A lot of gift shops, a lot of t-shirt shops, some bars. Nothing really great, nothing that's going to blow your mind. It's very touristy, very 3.8 stars on Yelp, just very basic stuff.
Yeah.
I've talked to some people in town who say, if I want candy, I will go to Old Sac, because there's a lot of candy shops and saltwater taffy shops. And so that seems to be the move. If you're going to go there, you're going to go over there for candy. I went to one of the bars in Old Sacramento just to see what it's like and have a drink. What was it? The Bull and Crown?
The Bear and the Crown?
Bear and Crown. I forget what it was called. the Baron
Yeah.
Crown, and it was. I mean, it was fine. There was nothing to. It's not. You don't have to go there. It's okay. It's just okay. But that's what Old Sacramento is. There's much more to be had in Midtown Sacramento, East Sacramento, like east of the Capitol, that whole area. That there's a lot more like just fun stuff and more eclectic neighborhoods, more stuff to do, energy. It's just much better.
Well, so and then you walked across what was it, the London Bridge or the gate? What was it? I apologize. What was that bridge that you crossed to get to the ballpark?
The Tower Bridge. The Tower Bridge.
Tower
So the
Bridge, yeah,
Tower
not London
Bridge
Bridge.
it's got yellow sort of it's a yellow, two towers basically. So that's what it is. And that connects West Sacramento from Sacramento, and West Sacramento is where Sutter Health Park is. The thing is, this is one of the takeaways I had from the park is when you cross the Tower Bridge, it's not a big crossing. It's a nice crossing. Once you cross it, though, it's like another 2 blocks or so to the ballpark, and they're long blocks. And it's not very pedestrian friendly. I mean, there's sidewalk, but it's a huge avenue. And so it's not the most like aesthetically pleasing walk to the ballpark. And if you were trying to get to so the barn at Drake's is the one place you would go to for drinks before a game. That's probably 10 minutes south of the ballpark. So if you're crossing the Tower Bridge and then you want to get down to Drake's, you have to probably walk another, it's like you cross the bridge, you go 2 blocks, and you go down another 10 minutes to Drake's. It's a lot longer than you think it is. And it's a lot of not pedestrian friendly sort of parking lot centric walking. It's not great. It's not developed yet. They're apparently developing it right now, but it's going to take some time. Nevertheless, it's very open. It's not like there's a lot of congestion in that area. It's just, roads. It's a lot of road. That's basically the crux of it.
When you got there, when you actually walked into the ballpark, were there, just out of curiosity, were there more Rangers fans or Oakland fans?
It's more A's fans. But there were certainly quite a few Rangers fans there. It wasn't like they were shut out. I mean, it was probably like 70-30, something like that. Mm-hmm. A's to Rangers fans, 70-30 or 75-25. I mean, pretty good showing for the Rangers fans. I did speak to a lot of A's fans who were
I was going to ask about that, yeah.
regular. They were regulars at the Coliseum, or they live in Oakland or around Oakland, and they are, peeved. They're very pissed at the team, at the ownership. And I talked to one guy who said it took him a long time to really actually get out to a game. It was just really hard for him to do it emotionally, which I totally understand. I talked to a fan who is, from Sacramento and was like, this is great. This is the best thing that ever happened. There's a Major League Baseball team in our city, and it's very, it's a cozy park, and it feels very warm and interesting. And I could see that. I could totally see where you get warm out of it and you get, intimate, but it's also a minor league ballpark. It's just, and that's the big takeaway is that there's 14,000 seats here. There's a lawn. There's, not the whole park is open. The whole left center field area is closed off. It's a group area, and there wasn't any groups there tonight, so it was closed. So you can't walk around the whole park. There's no second level to kind of walk around in. No concourse there. The vendors are pretty basic. There's, basically your hot dog and chicken tender vendor. And then there's your taco and nacho vendor. And then there's your, cheeseburger vendor. And then there's, it's not, you're not getting crazy variety here. You're not getting crazy local flavor here. I did have the what was it? The pastrami fry. So it's the fries that are topped with pastrami and Russian dressing and coleslaw. It was good. It was good. It was fine, but it's not something I would necessarily go back to, and it doesn't really tell me anything about Sacramento. And that's the thing is I'm looking for things that tell me about Sacramento. I want to have food and drink that make me realize, okay, this is what Sacramento's all about. And that's not what you're getting here at Sutter Health Park. So it's a very sort of nondescript minor league park. It is intimate. It is kind of interesting, but it's a nondescript minor league park. And so you just kind of live with the fact that it's not necessarily a big league experience.
Yeah, it's just from what I saw on our on the Instagram. If you follow us on Instagram, Taking Me Out Pod, it looked like you were walking up to like a college stadium or something. Not even a college, yeah. It looked like a minor league park. I actually could picture myself walking up to it, like I'm walking up to a Constellation Field here in Houston, Sugarland.
It's quite similar actually. Yeah.
Really okay. What were the sidelines like? Where were your seats for the game?
Funny enough, like so, I got a seat on the lawn. I wanted to get a cheap ticket, so I got a lawn ticket, and the lawn is decent. It's on a hill. It's home run hill they call it, but there's trees, and so the trees kind of block your sight line a little bit. If you're back, you have to move. Yeah, you have to kind of sit up on the lawn to be able to like be away from the trees. So that's something that you never fight with in Major League Baseball is having a tree in your face, right? There are parts of the lawn that are more open and not affected by trees, and more towards center field. You could sit really close to the fence, and you could really edge up against it, but you're far away. So like that's the trade-off. I moved around a little bit, so I did the lawn for a bit, and then I moved to, I want to say right, like sort of like the first baseline, and like hung out there for a bit. And then around the fourth inning, I just decided I'm going to go as far as I can down. And so I got to the home plate section, whatever section that is at home plate. And, the usher wasn't there at the moment. So I just walked down, and I got to like this. I got to like the sixth row, and I sat down and watched 3 innings.
Okay.
From very low. If you're coming to this park, know that there's real opportunity to sit low if you just
it's a minor league park.
Wait a couple innings.
I mean, they do care where you sit, but it's like a minor league park. It's not going to be the biggest deal, I guess. Wow.
Yeah, so I would totally play that game. Like don't buy the really expensive ticket, buy a cheap ticket, and then play the game where you get to home plate and just kind of work your way down if you can at some point during the game, and you could stay there. I'm sure you can. I could have stayed there if I wanted to all game, but I just said I'd leave at the sixth inning. But sidelines are fine. It's relatively open throughout the entire first level. From the concourse, you can see out pretty easily. There's nothing in your way. There's no stands in your way. There's no pylons in your way, anything like that. But it's, you're pulled back more than you probably should be in some places on the concourse. But ultimately, it's 14,000 people. You're gonna get a good sight line regardless of where you are in this park.
Okay, well, so as we said multiple times, it's a minor league park. Where would you rank? So how many minor league parks have you been to, out of curiosity? And then where would you rank this one?
I've been to a handful, like Constellation I've been to in Sugarland. I've been to like Trenton and Wilmington, and I've been to Omaha, and I've been like, where else have I been? I've probably been to like 10 to 15 minor league parks. Not that many, quite honestly. It's up there with, it feels a lot like Constellation and Sugarland, which is also a AAA park in that Pacific League. Mm-hmm. So it's similar in a lot of ways, and it should be. I would say it's up there. And it's a good park. I don't know what my favorite minor league park is, but as far as playability and sight lines and a variety of things to do and see and eat and all that stuff, it's right up there toward the top. Doesn't mean like the best minor league park is not necessarily going to cut it in the major leagues, but it's a better minor league park than I think most are.
Well, that's something. I guess it gives the A's fans something. It's just such a terrible situation for them, man. I'm assuming it wasn't a sold out game.
No, I don't think so. And I've heard from multiple fans on my trip here that they're like, they're not selling. It's not doing. They're not. It's not going well after the initial first week of hubbub with the opener and all that. It's died down considerably, and you are struggling to fill the stadium. I would say tonight it was probably it was a pretty good crowd. I want to say it was like 11,000, 12,000. It was pretty packed for a Tuesday night too, which is really good. But the thing was, once the A's got down by the fourth inning and they were down by like 5 runs, people just fanned out pretty quick. Like people left in the fourth, fifth inning. And so that's the thing is like, there's no baked in A's fandom here in Sacramento. They can kind of take it or leave it. It's very family friendly here, but families aren't going to stay the whole game, especially on Tuesday night. in the spring. They're going to go home so that they put their kids to bed. So you're dealing with all those things here. It's very clear that they're not going to stay here forever, but this is what they're going to have to deal with right now.
Well, I'm glad you went, and thanks for reporting back. I mean, what was the was the in-game entertainment just like similar to just minor league stuff as well, just small local business stuff?
Yeah, they didn't have a lot, honestly. They had somebody who came on the field to, I think, run a race or something, but like it was very, very bare bones. Not a lot of like in-game entertainment. They did like you sang along to Whitney Houston, the fans did. So there's like a guy who roams the stands and he kind of like has the microphone and they tune to him once an inning or maybe once every 2 innings to kind of do a game. But it's not at the same level as a lot of minor league parks are. Some minor league parks, every half inning is a different game. They didn't do that much here, but there's a guy and he does some things. And so like that kind of takes up that part of it, but it's not in every half inning kind of occurrence.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's a pretty important thing for a lot of parks. I mean, especially when it's just like, there's not that much to do there. It's just like a lot of teams really do dial up the entertainment and stuff. There was another question I was thinking about asking. I cannot remember what it is right now. I remember at the old Coliseum, they had all the fans of the drums and everything. A small little section. Were those guys there, or were they back home in Oakland? No. Oh,
they have banned noisemakers at the stadium. So you
can't.
Oh man.
Okay.
You can't bring a drum. You can't bring anything with noise. It's really annoying. And again, A's fans who I've talked to were really upset about the fact that was taken away from them too, because that was part of the character of the Coliseum and A's fandom, and it's just not there anymore. They've done a really good job of wiping away sort of, cities, Oakland from the A's profile. Everything that they have in this team store is athletics. I was looking for a pin that had Sacramento on it because it'd be cool to get a pin from Sacramento. They didn't have one, but they had a patch that had Sacramento on it with the tower bridge, and so I bought that. So I have the Sacramento patch. But that was the only thing they had at the whole store that was Sacramento, that had Sacramento on it. And there was nothing that had Oakland on it. So they were really like emphasizing that we are not part of a geography. We are just the Athletics, and that's it. Which
you're just a placeholder. That's just
that's
so frustrating.
At some point, people will not buy stuff because they're like, well, we don't, either I want to buy something when they actually become Vegas and I'll buy Vegas stuff, or because of the way that they've been treated, you just, as a customer, you're like, I don't want to give them money. Screw them. So like, that's what they're going to deal with there.
I'm assuming, and I saw on the stories that they had some signs for Las Vegas. They're just promoting like, hey, we're going to be moving here soon-ish,
Yeah.
Were they kind of promoting that a lot there?
Well, there's a sign. They have like the sign in right field on the fence or center field, whatever it is. The Las Vegas Tourism sort of logo is out there, and then they have a bunch of big screens in the concourse that are hanging up, so you can watch the game as it's going on while you're walking the concourse. And before the game started, every fifth slide on that TV was Las Vegas, and so it's. They're telling people that the A's are coming to Las Vegas. Don't you worry.
Don't you worry. Just sit here in our small little park with nothing too special about it, it sounds like. But how about any local beers there that you got to try in the park? Like I know you got to go to the Bear and the Crown and Drake's, but did they sell any good stuff there in the park?
At the park, I didn't really see any local beer. The most craft thing that they had there was so Elysian has a pretty decent showing at the ballpark, and so they were there with a sort of an outdoor situation that it's sort of like a beer garden-y situation. It's very small, but it's not a beer garden. You just kind of walk in and you buy your beer and you can stand there and like have a beer. But they have haze dust, I think, or haze juice, whatever it is. I think haze dust is what it's called. Space dust. That's like their IPA. Yes. That's there. They have I think a New England IPA there, and that's available. Maybe like 2 or 3 other beers, but that's the Elysian part of it. You can also get cans of Elysian Space Dust throughout the park, which is cool. But that is the best beer that you'll get at the park and the most like quote unquote local. I mean, they're Portland, aren't they? So they're not
I think
necessarily
so.
like
Yeah.
local. Yeah. So no local beer, sadly.
Man. So just, I guess, get yourself an Elysian Space Dust with some pastrami fries and sit in the 6th row behind home plate, and you'll probably have a pretty good night.
That's what I did. That's what I
I
did.
mean,
Yeah, that's what I did
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, perfect. What was your? Let's do something happy. What was your favorite thing about the park? Just like overall.
My favorite thing about the park, I mean, it was easy to navigate it. It's a small park, so it's obviously going to be easy. But I knocked out all my research of that place, taking pictures of things and seeing where things are within 20 minutes because it is a really quick park to get around in. And it doesn't seem too congested. Maybe on the weekends it's more congested, but this was a relatively easy park to navigate, which I really appreciate.
All right, and then if you like, you're not going. You just went to tonight's game. You're not going again tomorrow night.
No, tomorrow night I will be in Oracle Park in San Francisco to see the Giants.
That's right.
Oh,
so you're just gonna be complete opposite end of the spectrum. Yeah. That'll be fun.
I'm taking the train.
But real quick, if you go ahead, you're gonna take the train down there.
I'll say, yeah, I'm taking the train back to Oracle. I'll take the train to San Francisco tomorrow morning, and then I'll be at Oracle tomorrow. So, yeah.
Well, if you were to do one more game there at Sutter Health, would you do anything differently? What would you do differently, like from what you learned tonight?
What would I do differently? I'd probably get a couple hot dogs instead of the pastrami fry. I don't know.
I mean, you can't go wrong with a hot dog.
I thought I did it pretty well. I would also maybe wear pants. I wore shorts. And
it gets chilly there. Yeah.
It's funny. Like it was 80 to 85 degrees today and very sunny and very warm. And so I wore shorts and a t-shirt and totally fine. And then once it hit like 6:30, 7 o'clock, once sunset started, it dropped down into the low 70s pretty quickly. And by the end of the game, it was probably about 65 outside, maybe 63, and a little windy, a little like, especially in the outfield, like cold. It was cold. And so luckily I brought a fleece, so I knew I would probably need that. And so I wore the fleece, but it did not have anything for my legs. I was shorts, very shorts for this one, but that's okay.
And you kept your head warm with your Phillies hat. I saw.
I did.
Old trusty.
The Phillies hat is right here. I had it on.
Very cool.
There it is. Okay, great.
Did anybody talk to you about like, oh, Phillies fan, anything like that there?
I got a couple of those, and one of the guys who did that was very drunk, and we had a very quick talk when I realized, go walk over there.
Like, the conversation's not going anywhere. I gotta go.
I mean, he was a very nice guy, but he had a lot to drink. And I ran into a couple of people who were like, "Oh, Phillies hat, what are you doing here?" kind of a thing, and I would tell them what the deal is, and they were like, "Oh, that's amazing." So hopefully we'll get some listeners out of this. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Cool. So tomorrow, San Francisco. What's your itinerary then?
Amtrak from Sacramento to Oakland, and then I will get on the BART train and take that across over to San Francisco and check into my hotel early, and then just kind of walk around a little bit, like take some pictures, just kind of chill. I've already been to San Fran a couple times, so I'm not necessarily going to research that much. So I get to kind of like just chill out a little bit more. And then the game is I think first pitch is at 6:45 p.m. So I will get down to Oracle by the river there, or by the bay there, around probably like 4:30 or so, 4:30. There's a bunch of bars around that area and places to eat and things like that are really cool. So I might like dip into one and just see what happens. But my plan is probably to get there, 4:30 or so, and then go to the game and enjoy the game, and then get home and sleep for 7 hours before I have to go on the plane again. So,
That sounds like it's still, exactly. It's morning to night, all party. But that sounds like you're having a really good trip, and I'm glad you're having a good time. And I'm sorry that Sutter Health wasn't all that. It's not that it's not all cracked up to be, because I don't know what you would expect, going to a game at a minor league park. But it's just a sad situation for Oakland fans. It's ugh.
Yeah, the A's fans I talked to, again, were very upset that they don't have a team in Oakland anymore and they have to travel. One fan said, it's like I have to take a vacation just to see my favorite team in their home.
Oh,
like that's stupid. It's like if my Phillies decided to move to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania for a couple of years. Imagine like the Astros moving to Austin for 3 years just to move to Austin for some reason. It doesn't make sense. And it's far away, and I have to make that work, and it's a whole thing. So, yeah, it's a really poor circumstance that they've been put into. But I mean, I'll give the A's credit for like trying to make Sutter Health a little bit, approachable for A's fans. But it's very much just a minor league park. So at the end of the day, that's what it is. And yeah, it's good to cross it off the list if you're going to try to do that. But otherwise, I don't see the need to go to it if you really don't need to go to it.
Yeah, I'm still up in the air if I'm going to go or not. I mean, I've never been to Sacramento. It'd be nice to check out Sacramento, especially if you said, I mean, with the old town seeming kind of touristy. I'm sure I'm not a big candy person in my older age, but my mom loves saltwater taffy, and she will murder for licorice. So if they've got licorice there, I mean, I can probably grab her some. Yeah,
I'll be her favorite. Probably do. Yeah, plenty of candy.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Well, we will be back in a second. Here on Take Me Out. I will tell you, fans, listeners, I am exhausted. So we'll get this done in a moment. I've had a very long list. I'm sure you've been able to tell. Like, I am exhausted. I've had a very long 24 hours, and like I'm like half like falling asleep as I'm talking. But we will be back in a moment, and we will finish this up here on Take Me Out. Stay with us.
Welcome back, guys. You can find us, Take Me Out Pod, on Facebook, facebook.com/Take Me Out Pod. We're also on Instagram. We're pretty active on there today in our stories at Take Me Out Pod. You can follow Tim on his journey to Sacramento. And you can also follow us on YouTube. Hello, YouTube, at youtube.com/Take Me Out Pod. Patreon is coming soon. We have a document. It is going to happen. We have a document. We're going over things. Really excited to unveil those for you. Tim, you want to tell us about a little bit of the Patreon stuff maybe that are coming up?
Well, yeah, I mean, with the Patreon, we're going to launch that very soon. There's a video that we've already cut, and there's tiers that we're putting together. We're just kind of formalizing those. But for the most part, we're going to try to have 3 or 4 tiers that are, what you would expect out of Patreon tiers. With each one, it gets more and more involved and more money, but also like more perks. And some of those perks include a signed autographed book of baseball road trips, or maybe you want to come to a game with me. If you really want to give a lot of money to us, like I will go to a game with you wherever you want in North America. So, there's a lot of fun stuff that we're trying to put together for this Patreon, and that'll be coming out very, very soon, but it's very exciting. So stay tuned for that. And then, if you're listening to us, tell people that you know about us who are baseball fans, because we're trying to get this out to more people. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, 5 stars, give us a good review. We would really appreciate it, and that would help us out as we try to pick up more listeners and get more success out of this pod. So please, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Welcome back to Take Me Out. Final segment here. Okay, so I've been at Sutter Health Park all day, and I'm very tired, extremely tired, but I went
a little past your bedtime, but it's okay.
I flew to Vegas. I got into Vegas at like 12:30 in the morning. I stayed up and I took a 2-hour nap, and then I took a plane to Oakland. I took the train to Sacramento. I haven't slept much. This is where we are. It's where we are. I've slept like 5 hours in the last 40. So calm down.
Okay.
Nevertheless, Sutter Health Park, I had the pastrami fries, which, sure, pastrami, I don't know what that means for Sacramento. Let's come up with a food that would make more sense to serve at Sutter Health Park. That would be very indicative of the Sacramento experience. Now, Sacramento, from what I've heard, they do a good burger here. And it's the burger that they have. We talked about this. It's like the Detroit pizza of burgers, where it's like the cheese goes all the way to the edges. And it's like, very crispy edge burger action, the crispy edge patty. So that's a thing.
Yeah.
The other thing is, what was it? It was banana pudding, or it was some sort of a cake or a dessert that one restaurant does a lot here, and that, because I can't remember it, I feel like that's not going to work. So back to the burger, crispy edge burger. Like, I feel like if you're going to have a food at Sutter Health that is Sutter Health owned and the Athletics their own food, Maybe it is the crispy edge burger. You got to serve those. Or is there something else that
What about a
says,
crispy edge dog? Like a hot dog.
oh,
It's like this
okay,
smothered in cheese. Because that's, I mean, it's a hot dog is just insanely synonymous with baseball. Just make it just like a ridiculously crispy, nice cheese hot dog.
is it
Cheese
like
dog.
is it like a flat dog? Is it like one that you cut in half and it's like flat, and then you like
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. So you would do, okay. Here, it's happening. It's coming to me. So you would get two actual wieners and kind of split them down the middle so they kind of lie flat, but you put them on the
yeah,
bun, like a
yeah,
hamburger bun, and then turn
okay,
that into the cheeseburger. Yeah. So
oh,
you
interesting,
have hot
okay,
dog meat instead of a burger meat. So it's a hot dog burger.
a
Yeah.
hot dog burger. Okay, I can rock with that. I can rock with that.
Yeah.
They did have, and this is to their credit. I didn't mention this before, but they do have a tri-tip stand at the park, so you can
Oh,
get tri-tip,
okay.
which is very California. It's like the cut of beef and that they actually like cook as opposed to brisket. That's what they do here in California. So tri-tip, they have that. That's cool. But for an alternative, the crispy edge like hot dog burger, I like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
I do too. That's cool. So we'll write into Sutter Health. Say, look, I know you're a
Yes.
healthcare company. It sounds like maybe the sponsorship, but let's do with some ridiculously fatty, cheesy hot dog burger thing. Let's go for
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Yeah. Why would they say no to that? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe a side of pastrami fries. Who knows? Go
Well,
crazy.
yeah, I'm pastrami fried
It's
now
have a little
for
defibrillator
quite
on
a
the side
while.
just in
Yeah,
case.
yeah, yeah. Please, we don't need any more of that. Well, that's it for Take Me Out this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Sutter Health Park was fun, weird, interesting. We didn't talk about Sacramento. I will tell you though, so around the park, there's not a lot. There's Drake's, which is down south of the ballpark, about 10 minutes south. And that's like a cool outdoor area mostly that has like a lot of good beer. And the fans seem to flock there. So that's kind of the place to go to is Drake's the Barn, south of Sutter Health Park. Across the river, Old Sac is, I would stay away from it mostly because there's really not a lot to do there. If you wanted to pregame in Sacramento outside of the park area, you go east, you go to Midtown. I will tell you, I went to Fieldwork Brewery, which was really good beer there. And
I saw that
also,
picture. Nice and hazy looking IPA there.
yeah, very good. And then Urban Roots, which we've talked about before, really great tap room, really good people, really nice, just like good, like sort of vibes there. The beer's good, big tap room, outdoor and indoor. They have barbecue there, which I've heard is like okay. It's not necessarily amazing. It's just okay. There might be better barbecue in other places, but I probably wouldn't get a barbecue if I was in Sacramento anyways. I would maybe go for a crispy edged burger or crispy edged hot dog or
Yeah.
whatever the hell. But there's definitely good things to do outside of the Sutter Health Park area. Just you got to go east into like Midtown Sacramento to really kind of enjoy that. But more toward the ballpark, Drake's is there. And then the arena, Golden One, which is in downtown. It's like 10 minutes away from the ballpark, kind of across the river and in downtown. There's enough to do. There's like a big mall area there with a bunch of restaurants and bars and shopping and stuff like that. They probably closed the bars there earlier. A Yard House is there. I believe there's a Punch Bowl Socials there. So like, very high entertainment, high format bars and stuff like that. So you could do that if you want. But I would say the breweries kind of in the East Midtown area, East Sacramento area, those are more worth it. And if you want to do Drake's before the game, like that's also a good choice. So, but that's it. Sacramento, that's Sacramento. If you want more, we'll give you more at some point. But that's what I've gotten so far out of Sutter Health Park, and it's been a fun time. And now it's time to go to Oracle, and I'm going to get some sleep.
Before that, get some sleep, please.
Need some sleep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to Take Me Out. This has always been fun. Can't wait to do the next one next week after some sleep. I'm Tim.
And I'm Alex. Guys, guess what? It's baseball season.